Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I am puffy.
Well, it's so nice to finally meet you.
Yes. Hello, my name is Puffy.
So we've already started recording our fantastic interview. This is Kelly Shibari, everybody.
Hey. I don't know if this is kind of a weird angle and there's like this odd glow behind me, but I'm actually Skyping from my bed, or actually my friend's bed that I'm staying at while I'm in New York.
Ooh, fun. Yeah. Very exciting. So thank you so much for doing an interview with us. I know that you are, on vacation and...
No, as well, it's definitely a working vacation, but thank you. I know we've been talking about doing this for like almost 2 years.
I know, right?
So, yay, we finally got to make it happen, so I'm very happy.
Oh, good. Me too. So let's get started. Can you tell us a little bit about how and when you got into the industry?
It's kind of I got in because of a dare. I had been working in LA for about 10 years as a mainstream production designer, and kind of definitely behind the scenes, because like there's no, big girls don't do plus size stuff, and even when I was a kid, I kind of wanted to always be like a Playboy model or get into Penthouse, and I was like, it's never gonna happen. And in like 2000, Playboy actually did like this national bus tour to try to find like a Playboy model who was more like girl next door, very college girl. They did like a campus tour, and I saw the bus come by the city, and I was like, oh, I shouldn't apply because I know I'm not going to get it. But so I had been doing mainstream tech work for almost 15 years, and of that, 10 of it was in LA. And in 2007, there was a huge writer's strike, and all of the work dried up. There were all these picket lines. First, the writers went on strike, and then the actors went on strike, and then eventually the crew went on strike, and so I couldn't get any work. And all the work that was going on actually ended up going out of state, because a lot of the other states were having like tax incentives, and so all the work was going to like New Orleans or Georgia or New York, and or like out of the country, like to New Zealand, so, or Canada. There's a lot of work that went to Canada. So at that time, I wasn't seeing anybody. I hadn't went through a pretty bad breakup, and so I was asking a friend of mine who was a weapons specialist. So he like does guns and stuff on set, like all the prop guns. Yeah. And he and his girlfriend had also dabbled in adult, and I already knew that, but I was like, yeah. So I was just chatting with him, and I said, I don't know, maybe I should move back to New York and go back to doing tech work for theater. And he said, oh, you should do porn. And I kind of looked at him, and I was like, what are you talking about? There's no fat girls in porn. And this was 2007. So up until then, all the porn that I'd watched had been, what we consider like people who are like Hall of Famers now. Nina Hartley, and all the male performers that I knew were like Stephen St. Croix and Shawn Michaels and Randy Spears, and I never saw any chubby girls in that kind of porn. But then again, all the porn I was watching was like Vivid. Yeah. And they don't hire plus size performers even now. And he goes, no, there's actually companies. And so he and his girlfriend showed me a couple of websites that had plus-size performers, and one of them was a score group in Miami that traditionally does like big-breasted women, like slender women with giant natural boobs. Like that's their kind of like their calling card. Yeah. But one of the lines that they have is called XL Girls, which is, when you get to a certain size of breast. When you get to a certain size of breast, you have to actually, a lot of it is fat tissue. So a lot of the girls who have very large breasts are also kind of chubby. And so they decided to start XL Girls to kind of feature those women. And so I said, okay, well, why don't I send my pictures in? Because I was always pretty open about sex. And if they take me, I'll do it. So it's kind of a dare. And I kind of sent it in, never assuming that they would say yes. And within the same week, I got a response like, when can you come down to Miami?
That's awesome.
And so I was like, oh no, I have to do this now. Okay, fine. So then, I put, the nice thing about the score group is they actually they're one of those very old school, large filming studios. And So they actually have makeup and wardrobe, which came in very handy because at the time I was like, okay, I hook up with a guy, I've got like my one pretty pair of like bra and panties, and that's about it. And I kind of just do my regular makeup with my hair in a ponytail. And obviously I didn't do any of the glam makeup that they do for porn, and so I got flown down there. We shot for 3 days, and that became a movie called Plush Control, which is Score Group's one and only interactive movie that they've ever done. I don't think they've ever done one since, where the guy goes in and they can select the girl. You know, it's kind of like, it almost looks like one of those late night 900 number ads where all the girls are hanging out like in a living room and they're kind of at a cocktail party, and all of them come up to you individually, and then you get to pick one girl. And then you get to pick what position you would like to have her in, and then that's your porn scene. So that's what we did, and so I ended up doing like 4 or 5 different scenes for that movie, and then I did like photo sets for the magazine. And then I got shuttled back to LA, and I was like, okay, should I keep doing this, or should I just keep looking for mainstream work like I used to be doing? And the industry still hadn't recovered, so I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just keep doing it. And it was fun, you know, it's definitely a different kind of work, and now it's been 6 years.
Magically 6 years later.
Yeah, 6 years later, I'm still here, and I'm still doing porno, and I'm now working for companies like Evil Angel, so very, very cool.
You're doing a lot of really exciting stuff. Can you tell us a little bit about Padded Kink? I know that that's like really your baby.
Padded Kink is, it's definitely my baby because it's not a huge, like, it's a small company. It's really just me.
Very small, just you.
All of the girls, basically, it's not really a donation of time. It's definitely all content trade. The main thing that happened was over the years, obviously my name is Kelly Shibari, so last name being Shibari, which is Japanese rope bondage, people were automatically saying, oh, well, you should be doing fetish and kink work. So I actually got recommended to kink.com and a couple of other fetish websites. And kink.com's standard response was, we've heard about you, we think you're amazing, however, you don't fit our size profile. And I was like, damn you! And so, like, in the beginning, I was very upset. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, well, I could waste my time being upset, or I could just make my own site. Yeah. And so, we kind of went back and forth. I was like, do I want to call it fat kink? Do I want to call it, chubby kink? And we ended up kind of going back and forth. I wanted something that was more of a brand name. And so we ended up with Padded Kink, because it's also like a padded cell. Yeah. So welcome to the padded insane asylum cell, and we've got padded girls in here too. And we've had the site now for, I think this is our 3rd year. And it's definitely had really good support, both from the models and the fans. The girls basically, they contact me and say, oh, I'd like to be on Padded Kink, and my immediate response is, we're not paying you. I hope you're okay with that. This is definitely a labor of love, but you can keep the content that we shoot, or if you want to do something for us and then we shoot something for you, then it's like one-on-one. So if you want something exclusive, then you have to shoot something exclusive for us. And all of the girls none of them have turned around and said no. They've all stepped forward and said, yeah, when can we do this, And the nice thing is when, girls usually want to start their own website, it's a solo site. It's like, I want to, promote myself and my scenes and have guys, and girls masturbate to me. But in my case, especially with fetish, I don't do everything. I'm a rope girl. Like, I don't really want to get needles stabbed in myself, and I don't really need to, I don't get a lot of like personal joy out of being whipped and flogged. So, but there are other girls who do. And those girls don't really like to be tied up and suspended. So the nice thing about having a multi-girl site like Padded Kink is you could do a little of everything. So the first question I ask the girl when they apply is, what is your fetish? What is your kink? And if they come back and go, oh my God, I'm a complete masochist. I don't care what you do. I sexualize pain. I'm like, okay, well, let's pair you up with a dom that can do that, and we'll shoot that scene. if there's a girl who's like, I actually have a partner in my life and he's my puppy or he's my pegging partner, then that's the scene that we shoot. And I've done a couple of things that that I don't consider in my wheelhouse, but I've always found interesting, like needle play. So I've actually done a couple of scenes and gone, no, that's not for me, but at least I have that experience. And so now we have this really cool site where people can go and they can see all sorts of different fetishes, and not necessarily fetishes that are stereotypically BBW, although we do those as well, and we do intend to do more of those. Things like sploshing and food play and balloons and things like that, which are kind of predominantly more of a BBW fetish. Trampling, face sitting, squashing, that kind of stuff as well. Those are the scenes that we will be doing once we start reshooting, because we've kind of been on a hiatus while I was promoting my other movie. But we're now available on DVD. It's going to be available on Hot Movies for Her.
I'm very excited about this.
And the first 3 DVDs that we've put out are How to Submissives, which is strictly just regular variations on different kinds of kink. There's some spanking, there's some strap-on play, but it's kind of like a light kink, what mainstream people would consider kinky, but not necessarily hardcore, BDSM.
Like 50 Shades of...
Right, it's very 50 Shades. Oh, let me spank you, and then we'll have kissing. And I'll spank your boobs. Ooh, isn't that kinky? And then there's a great scene in it with me and Courtney Trouble with the strap-ons. So it's kind of hot.
Oh, nice.
And April Flores is in it. So that's like our all-star, like our traditional queer porn star movie is How to Submissives.
Oh, I can't wait.
I know. And we go, from there to we've done a medical fetish movie called A Night at Kinky General, where my friend Ophelia has tied a boy down who wants to become a girl who wants to become a boy. So this is like the whole medical fetish of them kind of in this like Frankenstein lab where she gets to have a penis attached, but it's obviously like a fake dildo. And then there's masturbation instruction. And then our latest movie is Padded Pets, which is all furries.
That's so amazing. I'm so excited about this.
Isn't necessarily something that I sexualize, but I know that there is a segment of the population that really sexualizes, the pet play, furries. We have a girl who's a leopard in a Zentai outfit, which is totally hot. And then we have Richard, Gere. Let's not say his last name, but we have Richard's gerbil who's been quarantined and is a huge diva.
Oh my God, I'm so excited about that.
So it's a very kind of kinky, curvy movie, which may or may not arouse people sexually, but is definitely an interesting look into that fetish,
Totally. And I think you can use porn for that too,
Yeah, absolutely. There is masturbation in it. There is some puppy play. There's a lot of like female oral in the movie. So yeah.
Aces.
Yes.
So one thing I want to talk to you about, which I think is really awesome. So I identify as a fat woman. That's like my identity.